Coffee with Jeff. Coffee with Jeff. Coffee with Jeff.
Well, hello, how are you? My name is Jeff. I am so glad you could be with me today. Today's film takes place in a post-apocalyptic world. The apocalypse, the end of civilization, the complete destruction of our world as we know it. And if you were one of the lucky survivors after a catastrophe, whether it be a war, a plague, climate change, an asteroid, whatever, would it be so bad? I mean, after you got over the loss of your loved ones and got the bodies buried, think of all the space. I mean, you could find a nice plot of land, I'm sure, to build a house on, and you wouldn't have to worry about people ringing your doorbell asking you if you want to buy new windows. Oh, it would be so peaceful. And if the movies taught us anything, it would be that motorcycles and cars are everywhere for you to use. Of course, you might have to deal with the occasional gang of marauders or mutants showing up, but hey, that goes with the territory, am I right? Oh, nothing is perfect. Oh, anyway, I'm just thinking out loud. Today we're going to show a film that was first shown on Mystery Science Theater 3000 on June 20th, 1992. It was a 1985 post-apocalyptic action film, City Limits. The movie was directed by Aaron Lipstadt and starred Darrell Larson, John Stockwell, Kim Cattrall, Rae Dawn Chong, John Diehl, James Earl Jones, and many other wonderful people. This was the episode in which the bots, Tom and Crow, have a little fun with ping pong balls, just like used to be done on the old Captain Kangaroo show. But after the break, Tom has Crow's eyes. The SOL crew comes up with new uses for old meat, and the Meds create pop star Tupperware and demonstrate it with Morrissey. At first break, Crow sings a song that professes his love for Kim Cattrall, and that is followed by a reenactment of a scene from the 1987 film Mannequin. Later, the bots are looking at their graphic novel collection when Joel walks up and the three of them create their own superheroes, and they continue that on until the next break. And finally, the gang plays the City Limits trivia game, but sadly they can't remember anything from the film, and we finish with a little more with the Mads and Morrissey. Just beyond our time, heroic young warriors stand between civilization and destruction. City Limits, on the border of adventure, at the edge of danger. I guess the poster doesn't lie, but I think they may be overstating it just a little, and I wouldn't call any of our characters heroic heroes, but that's just me. So this film starts out with a man called Aaron Lipstadt, and I hope I'm pronouncing his name correctly. Aaron was born on November 12, 1952, and as far as I know is still alive today. He started out as a production assistant for Roger Corman. He worked on films like Galaxy of Terror in 1981 and Forbidden World in 1982. But in 1982, he got a chance to direct for Corman with the very low-budget film Android, starring Klaus Kinski and Don Keith Opper. Opper would help him write the film. It was shot in 4 weeks and put together in 3 for the price of about $1 million. You know, I remember liking the movie Android when it first came out. Yes, I'm that old. But to be honest, I couldn't tell you a thing about it now. But it was pretty successful, so he wanted to follow it up right away with another movie, and he had the idea of a post-apocalyptic world, but with a twist. Instead of showing all the brutality and chaos, he wanted to show a world that was sort of rebuilding itself. I mean, his heart was in the right place. In an article written by Dan Scaparrotti in Cinema Fantastic, Lipstadt said, "We've had everything, from Damnation Alley to The Road Warrior, and there is always the sense that triumph is possible only under very hard circumstances. What I wanted to do was give an alternative possibility to that genre. Instead of an awful return to savagery, I wanted to say what would happen if we had a clean slate and could start over." He sold his treatment to Videoform Pictures, and they gave him a $2.5 million budget, which was quite an increase over what he had for Android. And he turned to the man who helped him write Android, Don Keith Opper, to write this screenplay. Opper was born in 1949 and is mainly an actor but dabbles in writing here and there. You might know Don from all the Critters films. Now, I had never heard of Videoform Pictures and Looking on the internet, most of what they produced I've never heard of before, though they were the production company on Nightmare on Elm Street 2, 3, 4, and 5, so they got that going for them. Now, as far as Aaron Lipstadt, he would go on to be mainly a TV producer and director with a pretty impressive resume. Now let's look at our cast. Starring in the film is John Stockwell as Lee. John was born in 1961 and is still alive today. He has had a very long career both as an actor and director. I first saw him in the film Christine in 1983. He was also in the films Losing It from 81, My Science Project from 85, Top Gun from 86, and Cheaters from 2000, in which he also directed. Kim Cattrall plays Dr. Wickings. Kim was born in 1956, and I don't think I really need to talk about Kim, do I? With films like Porky's from 82, Police Academy from 84, Big Trouble in Little China from 86, Mannequin from 87, and Star Trek IV The Undiscovered Country in 91, I think we all know who she is. She has also appeared on Broadway and, of course, in the HBO series Sex and the City. Kim has a massive amount of credits and has won numerous awards. Darrell Larson plays Mick. Darrell was born in 1950 and has also had a long career in both TV and films. Some of his films include The Student Nurses from 1970, Future World from 76, Android from 82, and Men at Work from 1990. He was never a big star, but he seemed to have made a nice living, constantly working in TV and films starting in 1970 and still continuing to this day. Rae Dawn Chong plays Yogi. Rae was born in 1961 and is the daughter, of course, of Tommy Chong. She's carved out a nice career for herself with films like Quest for Fire in 81, The Color Purple in 85, Tales from the Dark Side the movie in 90, and many others in film and television. She is still acting today, recently in the TV show Interview with a Vampire, in which she has a reoccurring role. To be honest, I didn't even know there was a TV show version of Interview with a Vampire, but that's me. Now, I can't go through everybody. There's a lot of actors in this film, but there's two I want to talk about, and the first has to be James Earl Jones as Albert. James lived from 1931 to 2024. We all know Mr. Jones. He has done so much and won so many awards, I could spend hours talking about this wonderful actor. But you might wonder, why was such a distinguished actor in a film like this? Early on, he was in classic films like Dr. Strangelove and The Great White Hope, and by this time, yes, he had done the voice of Darth Vader in 3 Star Wars films, but as far as actually appearing on film, there wasn't much going on. There was Conan the Barbarian and something called Blood Tides, both in 82, but that was about it. It wouldn't be until 1988 when his film career really began to take off with Coming to America and Field of Dreams in 89, The Hunt for Red October in 1990, and after that it was one great film after another. And lastly, I'll talk about Robbie Benson. Robbie was born Robin David Siegel in 1956. He's one of those actors who was almost a big star. I mean, after a promising start in films like Ode to Billy Joe in 76, One-on-One in 77, and Ice Castles in 78, his career seemed to slowly fade away. Don't get me wrong, he kept on acting in TV and films, but I don't think it was the career many thought he would have. In this film, he gets a special appearance credit. Was Benson a get for the director? Was it a big deal? That brings me to one of my pet peeves in low-budget movies. When they obviously pay a name actor to come in and just shoot for a day, usually in one location, just to have his name in the credits. I mean, in this case, they didn't even shoot enough footage and they had to use one shot more than once, so. Anyway, so what is City Limits? The film takes place 15 years from now, or 15 years from 1985, so the year is 2000. Remember the apocalypse of Y2K? We see a gang of beaten biker warriors arriving at a farm, and soon we will flash back to how it all began. I don't know why this part was necessary, but it gives James Earl Jones time for a little exposition.
I'd raised Leland since the plague took his parents, when he was just a little fella. Most of the adults were killed by the plague, and left a world of orphans to die off from lack of care, or live by their own devices. Leland was lucky. He had me to help him along, together, we came through it okay.
Apparently there was some sort of plague that killed our hero Lee's parents, as well as most of the adults in the world. Lee and James Earl Jones were living together until Lee went off to find adventure. I don't understand this helmet Lee is wearing. I mean, sure, wearing an animal skull in the desert looks cool, but come on, it had to be hot under there. He had to be sweating like a pig. That's the desert, for God's sake, and it doesn't even offer any eye protection. He meets a woman I guess he knows. The two swim naked, and I would guess had sex, before he leaves her to begin looking for a group called the Clippers.
There's no such thing! The Clippers.
Yeah, there is.
Arriving in the city, the first person he meets, a very pretty Wiccans. But these are not the Clippers, they're outsiders. Lee runs away. Are these the Clippers? I don't think so, Lee. Now here's my advice. If you're ever the newcomer to a post-apocalyptic city, try exploring that city during the daylight, not at night. You're just asking for trouble. Okay, like that biker didn't see that shack behind Lee. Whatever, movie. So Lee meets the Clippers, and they really don't seem to want him.
Go back.
What? What?
Whoa, okay.
Hey, I come a lot of miles.
Yeah, I know, but riding down a couple prairie pigs don't make you Clippers. Just let me talk. Forget it.
This is like screenwriting 101. He's turned away, but we, as the audience, know he'll be back, and in one form or another, he'll probably be leading this gang of misfits. The pretty yogi escorts Lee out of town just to make sure he leaves. But they're interrupted.
What?
Chef!
Is he Clipper?
No.
But this rival gang called the DAs are upset because that dude who ran into that old shack has died and they think Lee's the cause. So there's a bit of a fight and a little chase, but Lee and Yogi manage to escape. Back at the Clippers, we get some good cat food humor.
It's pussy nibbles.
It's good.
Sammy, we don't eat cat food.
Why not?
Because we ain't cats! Explain it.
And yes, this is the type of hilarity this film has to offer. Lee and Yogi return, but there's a problem. Even though Lee didn't really kill that dude, he's blamed, and because of it, that might violate some sort of truce these two gangs have.
We're gonna have to give you up. Why?
Because you broke the truce. It's an eye for an eye.
An eye for an eye. Number 47.
But the problem is solved from a comic book. Did I mention that these bikers are into comics? They are.
Oh, maybe.
What?
Okay, go get Ray. Tell him we got the cowboy for him.
Apparently, in one of the Insect Man comics, they had a situation exactly like this where somebody was killed accidentally. To solve the situation, they had a competition.
All right. He wins, you keep him. He loses, we do what we want with him. But we get to keep this.
No!
Well, who do you think's gonna win? Now there are these other people, some outsiders, the Sonia Corporation. They're planning to somehow modernize the city. Apparently they're the bad guys, though I don't really know why. Anyway, they are working with the DAs, but what they really want is to work with Mick and the Clippers.
Mick will come around. He's not stupid.
So you're saying I hope you're right. Our relationship depends on it. We're not interested in half a city. Do you understand?
He'll come around.
So we cut to the combat, the one that'll save Lee's life if he wins. Do I really need to tell you who's going to win? And so he's now a Clipper. Yay. Sometime later, Whitey gets drunk, wanders into the DA territory, and it doesn't go well.
I'm alone.
I want to show you something, Ray. We're done playing around.
By now, the Sonia Corporation is tired of waiting for the Clippers to join, and I'm still unsure of the corporation's motives. I mean, the only thing we really know about them is they want to bring electric lights back to the city. But Wickings, who's one of their employees, is becoming a little disillusioned with her boss Carver. Dr. Wickings uses the computer to find out that the Sonia Corporation is attempting to recruit labor at any cost. Is that what this is all about?
Satisfied? I've always had a great deal of respect for you, Helen. You do a hell of a job, but now you gotta let me do mine.
Wickings is told to go to her room. Is she 7 years old?
You go to your room and you stay there. You understand that?
Okay, let's look at where we are at so far. We know there's an evil corporation and they're willing to kill, but for what? We don't know. We know there's two gangs, the DAs and the Clippers. The DAs are working with the corporation for some reason, and the Clippers aren't and don't want to, though we don't know why, and that's really about it. So now the Clippers are in trouble.
The Clippers are finished. They had the chance to get in line, they didn't take it. You can't just cut them down like this. Let me talk to Mick one more time. I can get you what you want. I know him. Let me at least try.
All right. Okay. But you make it clear to them, this Mick, that they either cooperate or they're dead.
Cooperation about what? New lights? What are they up to? I don't know. But Wickings has had enough, and she escapes through the sewers. She's going to go over and join the good guys, the Clippers. So the Clippers have a funeral for Whitey in which they burn the body. The DAs show up, and for a moment they talk, but things turn ugly very quick, and a brawl breaks out. But up above, the Sonia Corporation was waiting, and they have guns, and things turn ugly. In the end, many are killed, many are taken away as slaves, and there are only a handful of survivors.
Mick, what is it?
Clippers is done.
Hey! Ernie! Tell Ray I want to see him.
Mick meets the leader of the DAs so they can have a chat. But the Sonia Corporation arrives and beat up Mick.
Left you, Mick.
But just when all hope seems to be lost, Lee and the rest of the gang show up to save him. So this handful of survivors, Lee, Mick, Wickings, Yogi, Sammy, and a couple of others, all retreat to Albert's place, and we are back to where we started.
Damn, boy, I told you to find adventure. I didn't say drag it home.
These are the Clippers.
The next morning, Yogi goes to work on her bike, but she finds there's a problem with it. Yogi's bike is unrepairable, but luckily, Lee has a surprise.
It's nice, huh? The 1948 Indian Bonneville Chief.
It's cute.
Yeah.
Can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
To make a long story short, Lee and Mick have a confrontation, but it all works out. Lee and Wickings hook up together, and after we get a topless shot of Kim Cattrall, a scene that was cut out of the MST showing. Everybody is planning to go their own way, but Lee, who is full of ideas, convinces them all to go back and fight. So after a training and repairing bike montage, they all head back, including Albert, his car, and his remote control airplanes. And now, with about 13 minutes left in our picture, we get the final battle. And who do you think's gonna win? And we have this scene. What is this, some sort of slave school?
We're taking over.
You ain't doing nothing. Thank you, Albert.
It takes an appearance by Lee to make the slaves or students or whoever they are realize that they can fight back. Of course, I still don't know what this corporation is up to. Sorry about yelling, but I'm just frustrated, that's all. Robbie Benson just sits by himself, whatever. Who he is and what he's doing, I can't say. I'm gonna spoil it for you. The good guys win, with the help of toy airplanes. Robbie Benson is killed and everyone lives happily ever after, or we assume.
The Clippers and the DAs were joined, and the city was in the hands of its own. And the kids born there and grown up there would make it work for themselves.
Wasn't that exciting? Now I want to go back to the scene when they were stuck on Albert's farm. Yogi gets pissed because her motorcycle, she discovers, is unrepairable, and she thinks she's going to be stuck on the farm.
So what? So I'm stuck here.
And this really upsets her, but the thing is, I personally would rather live on that farm than in that dirty old dark city, but that's just me. Here's the thing about this film. While there's some good ideas there, it just doesn't work. Like I've said over and over again, we need to know what the Sonia Corporation is up to. Besides installing new lights, we never find that out. Maybe they could have cut out the whole DA section and just have it the Clippers versus the big corporation. Like the Clippers are trying to bring peace to the world and the corporation wants to rule things or enslave all the teenagers or something along those lines. When you get right down to it, we don't know anything about the characters at all. They're all pretty much one-dimensional. Lee probably could have been a wide-eyed kid who had all these grand thoughts about the big city, and he becomes disillusioned when he gets there and turns into a warrior. And we need a traitor. We need somebody to stab him in the back. That could have been Mick or somebody, I don't know. Or even Kim Cattrall could have been the traitor. That would have made things interesting. Now, I tend to think the problem of this film was the screenplay, and that was written by Don Keith Opper, and that might explain why he never had a career as a screenwriter. Now, the music was created by Mitchell Fromm. Mitchell was born in 1953 and is an American musician and record producer. He's actually had a very long career and has worked with people like the Bangles, the Corrs, Elvis Costello, Sheryl Crow, Crowded House, Indigo Girls, Los Lobos, Barry Gibb, Randy Newman, Pearl Jam, Bonnie Raitt, and many more. He is currently the keyboard player for Crowded House. But this was early in his career, and doing film scores wasn't really something he kept on with. And while there are a few bright spots in the soundtrack, I didn't find it all that great. Especially this. It seems to be taken right off the soundtrack to Pink Floyd's The Wall. I did enjoy this episode of Mystery Science Theater 3000. I think there were some good jokes. Now for today's obscure reference, we have this.
Going home, cowboy.
So do you think, like, your dad could sign my Big Bamboo album?
Rae Dawn Chong is the daughter of Tommy Chong. Tommy being of Cheech and Chong fame, and Big Bamboo is one of their classic albums, the one that has Sister Mary Elephant on it, a classic skit. When I was a young man, I used to sneak into the drive-in to see Cheech and Chong's Up in Smoke, but don't tell anybody. Cheech and Chong were big when I was a kid. Anyway, Mystery Science Theater 3000 showed 75 minutes of an 85-minute film, so there were certain scenes cut out, a lot more than just Kim Cattrall's breasts. Of course, this was a Film Ventures International version of the film, so I'm not sure who cut out the 10 minutes, but I tend to think it was Best Brains because of the time restraints of the TV show. So now, why don't we watch the best 2 minutes of the film as it was shown on Mystery Science Theater 3000.
City Limits sounds like a clothing store for high school girls.
Oh, Austin City Limits.
Is this impolite to keep it up?
Yeah,
to keep the umbrella open while we're... It's kind of weird.
Hey, we got a drink out of that water.
It's like,
Whitey, you don't take your arm off of us. We're gonna break
Us? We feeling a little cranky, Sybil?
Geez, they should take better care of their pets.
Would you quit being evil over my shoulder?
born to be one.
The mild ones.
Hey, it's the NBC Mystery Movie.
Would you stop that? You guys, every time you see a flashlight, it's not the NBC Mystery Movie.
But can we all just stop and look at our scripts? Oh, I guess it does say that Boy George drives in lobbing Molotov cocktails, huh?
Great, they lapped the plot. We're back at the beginning.
Boy, it was windy last night. The cow stuck right to the barn.
Now has everyone gone potty? We're not stopping.
Stop it.
That's the same scene as before. Rip off!
Yep.
Sorry, I was looking for Soch 101.
Hello? Why won't anyone do a scene with me?
Oh, gotta go. Excuse
yeah,
me.
wait,
Hi there.
Right, man,
Black guy,
sorry.
hi, white. Whoa, James Earl Jones brought the cooler, everybody. Woo!
Look, Smithers, I'm Davy Crockett. Oh, that's dirty pool. If I knew what was going on, I'd really be indignant.
Hello, Helen.
Oh, hi, I was just launching 1,000 chips.
This is FUN.
I'm a prince. I'm a Grimwald warrior.
All right, Benson, what the heck you been doing in this movie?
Hey, I hope your leather mug stand works out for you. Huzzah!
Kim Cattrall is all right with me.
Now I want to reach into the mailbag before we go and read a couple of comments that I received, because I've told you about some of the bad ones, so why not talk about some of the good ones? After my Castle of Fu Manchu episode, Lord Geck wrote, "How dare you aggressively summarize an MST3K episode with all your laid-back charm? I was forced to watch 27 minutes of this nonsense and will undoubtedly be back for more, against my will, of course." Thank you, Lord Geck, that really made me laugh. And after my Giant Gila episode, Emma wrote, "I changed my mind because I can do that. Yes, thanks." And thank you for understanding why I changed my mind, Emma. And Tom, who writes me almost every week, said, "I love how the Gila monster actually seems to gasp before the crash." Me too, and thanks, Tom, for the comment. And I want to thank everybody who left comments. Those really make doing this little show I do worth it. So anyway, in 2 weeks, I'll be doing the 1959 Alien Invasion low-budget classic film Teenagers from Outer Space, written, produced, and directed by Tom Graff, who also appears in the film. Now, Tom was an unusual person with a very interesting history, so we're going to have a lot to talk about. And the film has the Ed Wood actor Harvey B. Dunn in it, so it'll be a lot of fun. Thanks for watching, and thank you to all the new subscribers. I hope you liked the show, and again, I appreciate all the comments and such. So I'll be back in 2 weeks. I'll see you soon. I want you to stay healthy and take care of yourself. Bye-bye.